I do not share his views with respect to Israel. I have said so clearly and unequivocally. The others that you refer to are all former members of the Clinton administration, who, basically share the view. I mean, let's be specific. Somebody like a Tony Lake, the former National Security Advisor, or Susan Rice, these are not anti-Israel individuals. These are people who strongly believe in Israel's right to exist, strongly believe in a two-state solution, strongly believe that the Palestinians have been irresponsible and have been extraordinarily critical of them, share my view that Israel has to remain a Jewish state, that the U.S. has a special relationship with Israel. My starting orientation is, A, Israel's security is sacrosanct. It's non-negotiable. That's point number one. Point number two is that the status quo, I believe, is unsustainable over time. So we're going to have to make a shift from the current deadlock that we're in. Number three, that Israel has to remain a Jewish state. And what I believe that means is that any negotiated peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians is going to have to involve the Palestinians relinquishing the right of return as it has been understood in the past. Well, something that Robert said that I think is very important. I have consistently said, and I've said this to Palestinians, I said this when I was in Ramallah, that you cannot fault Israel for being concerned about any peace agreement if the Palestinian state or Palestinian Authority or Palestinian leadership does not seem to be able to follow through on its commitments. And I think that the approach we have to take with respect to negotiations is that you sit down and talk, but you have to suspend trust until you can see that the Palestinian side can follow through. And that's a position that I've consistently taken, and that's the one that I will take with me to the White House. I do not understand how anybody who is concerned about Israel's security and the threat of Iran could be supportive of George Bush's foreign policy. It has completely backfired. It is indisputable that Iran is the biggest strategic beneficiary of the war in Iraq. We have spent what will soon be close to $1 trillion strengthening Iran, expanding their influence. How is that helpful to Israel? How is that helpful to Israel? You can't make that argument. And so the problem that we've seen, I think, in U.S. foreign policy generally has been this notion that being full of bluster and rattling sabers and being quick on the draw somehow makes you more secure. When Israel launched its counterattack against Hezbollah in Lebanon during the summer of 2006, I was in South Africa at the time, a place that is not particularly friendly to Israel at the time. And I was asked by the press, what did you think? And I said, if somebody invades my country or is firing rockets into my country, then, or kidnapping my soldiers, I will not tolerate that. And there's no nation in the world that would. So I don't see this softness within the Democratic Party on these issues. The question is, can we use our military power wisely? can we be strategic in terms of how we move forward? And I think that is profoundly in the interests of Israel and in the interests of U.S. security. You can't have a conversation with somebody who does not believe you should be sitting on the other side of the table. At the point where they recognize Israel and its right to exist, at the point where they recognize that they are not going to be able to shove their worldview down the throats of others, but are going to have to sit down and negotiate without resort to violence, then I think that would be a different circumstance. That's not the circumstance that we're in right now. One of my goals consistently in my public career has been to try to bridge what was a historically powerful bond between the African American and Jewish communities that has been frayed in recent years for a whole variety of reasons. I think that I have served as an effective bridge, and that's the reason why I have overwhelming support among the Jewish community that knows me best, which is the Jewish community in Chicago. And I think that anybody who has friends among the Jewish community in Chicago should